Hi friends, this is Ranjan. As I decided to unlock the startup, I said earlier also why I have decided to unlock the startup. Basically, I have given mainly four reasons: knowledge production, knowledge consumption, particularly and knowledge distribution and demand and supply. The basic idea behind was that as we are in more and more universities are opening like institutional eminence, more and more new ideas or new institutions are opening like Prime Minister Research Fellowship Program. More colleges are opening like IITs and other NITs. So it created an ecosystem of knowledge production actually, as well as knowledge distribution through the students. And the knowledge consumption side, if you look at a lot of entrepreneurship happening, and the economy is rising, which is the demand supply side I know, conceptualized. Hence, the economic trajectory is moving, the demand is moving, the supply, the entrepreneurships are moving because knowledge, distribution is happening correctly through the students, and the knowledge production is happening, and it is easily accessible. And there is a collaboration between universities, the industries, entrepreneurship, and the rise of venture capitals. That is one of the reasons that helps raise capital. Hence, having said that, let's move to the directly to the chapter one. So the chapter one talks about this lean startup by Eric Ries. Is first the first chapter I mainly divide into six level of you know separated for analysis. As such, that in the book there is nothing. This comes as a story, but I actually separated for our understanding. First thing, actually, Eric Rice talked about there is level of college level of enthusiasm is there, and Eric Rice talks about his own story of failure and why it failed. This is the third part. Why pain, and the converting the great product into great company, and then talks about another startup which he started after being after failed for the first time in 2001. That startup was hugely tremendously successful and a profitable venture, and then talks about from there in the from the second startup whatever the learning came, he wants to democratize that learning. As more and more startup approached this advice, he made it like a book, and other he started writing a blog. So in terms of the processes that he learned, the ideas that he learned, he wants to distribute it. That is the origin, and that talks about that is get captured in the five principles of TLS, the lean startup. Okay, let's move to the first part. College level enthusiasm. What talks about college level enthusiasm? If you look at in the college level, what are the building blocks available? First thing is knowledge is available because as you learn new things in the college, let's say you're computer engineer, you learned about computer science, the internet technology, and then you know that time you have a lot of curiosity is there, that youthful enthusiasm is there to build or the invent future. So that gets translated into new technology, new products, which got an early access. Early success means we don't know how this product will evolve in the future. But as you know, the VC funds, they don't know the uncertainty which startup is going to succeed in next 5 years or 10 years. When you don't know the certainty, the probability of the future, in the uncertain time, they will try to raise capital to anybody, and they will try to invest in anybody and everybody. As the valuations are small, they will uh, you know uh, invest in the funds and take higher amount of equity. And then Eric Rice talked about second part. Second part he talks about his own failure actually. He started a company called, I think, Catalyst Recruitment. So in 2001 he started. That is the first venture into the entrepreneurship. So online profile for employees is like Naukri.com or Monster.com is definitely a very thinking which is ahead of the time. When Naukri.com around started same time also. But if you look at that particular company, Catalyst Recruiting failed. Why? I'll tell you why this company very important, because even the Nobel Prize winner in probably around 2015-16, they won on this theory itself. As for them, the vacancy as well as the unemployment exist together. There is an information gap. So lot of people will be unemployed. Simultaneously, similar skilled vacancies will be existing. It takes time to fill that information gap. So there, this particular company would have worked out. That is the catalyst recruiting. So once you create the profile, you say, it will become a database. You create that online database, and obviously the employer will search, and they will find the right skill matching, and the information filling will be faster. But it didn't succeed there. It was, Eric Rice described it as a very painful failure in his life. So there is a breakup scene happened. If you look at that time, even dot-com bubble was there, where even if viable companies are also struggling, because that time sudden move away from the tech stocks. The reason being, the reason being there was something called a irrational exuberance in the tech stocks. So that time this company particularly failed, but obviously not due to merely the not able to raise capital. Basically, they didn't they didn't convert that product insights or the great product into great company. What was missing is the process. What was missing is the process. This is as per Eric Rice. So that means we generally have idea like entrepreneurship is something very noisy. Entrepreneurship is not management, but Eric Rice thinking entrepreneurship is also a management. So for converting the product insights into great company, you require some processes, and that is the book talks about the whole processes. So before that, we'll study some of his, success and failure, so that it's important that a person who has struggled in his life is not merely a theoretician or an economist who understands things not as an experienced guy but as a academic literature. So Eric Rice has struggled. So in this, he believes he's having certain beliefs. Particularly, he thinks statistics telling a very different thing than what magazine and blogs are telling, and which is true, no doubt about that. Magazine blogs, as per them, determination, brilliance, great timing, great product will be successful entrepreneurs. People will, the react to this story. But as per Eric Rice, this is a post factum rationalization, or it's a kind of selection in a post factum rationalization or product of uh, selection bias. Because once they're successful, you select and put their character. The same characteristics also present in the failed company. The reality is, more than 90%. In fact, more than 90% startups fail. So hence, so more than 95% startups not only fail, they uh, devastation ventures. Many ventures not live to the potential also when earlier thinking. So after more than 10 years, Eric Rice was thinking, this is the one. Then in 2004, he started up a company called IMVU startup. IMVU. So in 2004, the startup IMVU, when Eric Ries started, they had a great vision, particularly. They had a great vision, but lacks that confidence, lacks the kind of credential, kind of in the market they already know the credentials, but they had the great vision. So they are actually some of the assumptions that already had of Eric Ries. He started to dismantle that assumptions. Like any problem, he used to assume it's a technical problem. It requires a technical solutions. So hence the focus on engineering architecture is more important. So entrepreneurship is not merely a technical solution, rather a combination of the interactions of internal technological development to external interactions with customers. How fast you are timing to the market, how you are distributing your products. These all things are important which you learned from Steve Blank, one of the investors. So as for Steve Blank, business and marketing is as important as engineering and product development. In fact, sometimes even more important. Because in external world we are competing with many people. And some of the things, some of the unique capabilities, processes you should possess that should able to beat that competitions. Okay. So some of the few learnings IMVU, if you can search in Google also, it basically 3T after technology. In 2011 itself, it is profitable with $50 million sales, and it is having mainly user generated content. Usually design this 3D avatars and can sell it. Hence, it is a customer driven company. So the supply is unlimited because as the more and more people will join the platform, the supply, the design of the content or the avatars will be unlimited. Okay, some of the things you learn like minimum viable product. So you have to launch fast with minimum viable product so that you can, and you can quick, so that you don't take much time to fail, because the fail fast is one of the important thing. And then you should wait for the early adapters and take learnings from the early adapters, take feedback, and run some of the experiments that is part of your big vision. You make it into small pieces of that vision. If you look at Swiggy or other startup, they particularly run experiments. One of the Swiggy's experiment is Pops, where he's trying to give a complete meal himself instead of partial meals, selecting four different menus, which impacts the cost as well as kind of uh, innovative menus. And also he's trying to invent menus. He's trying to specialize in menus which he wants to own, not to share with Zomato and others. These are some of the experiments he's running. It's very, very important. Then we'll go to the origins of the lean startup. So I'm going very fast, but because these five principles of TLS and all, everything will cover in detail. Just this is the introduction. It basically talks about few things. Okay, it's about what is the youthful enthusiasm. Then what happened to the Eric Ries, catalyst recruitment. What are the problems? What are the failures from converting great product to great company? The learnings from the new startup, IMVU startup, that 3D of the startup. Okay, so in the origins of the startup, particularly the origin started from the IMVU project. Basically, origin started from this IMVU. There they experimented certain learnings, but they found there is a missing element is the language and vocabulary. So hence they try to refer to the modern management where it derived the manufacturing. So one of the leader in the modern management, Koeda, is highly experienced in the operations and supply chain. So there and just in time production, you would have heard about Japanese just in time production. It basically talks about efficiency in the operation as well as managing the whole supply chain, building a supplier ecosystem, and its distributions are outstanding. Distribution and inventory management. Some of the process and learning they have made that will definitely will cover in the five principles of the TLS. So the five principles of the TLS is basically about entrepreneurships are everywhere, and then entrepreneurship is management, validated learning, okay, build, measure, learn, which is all is applied on the lean startup, and then innovation accounting is very very important to understand and account innovation so that you can measure how your company is moving ahead in terms of innovations. We'll cover in the next. So these are very important things, and the summarize as I told already summarized. So Eric's, wow, the his own failure to own success to inventing a new method and democratizing that method so that others can help and it will help the whole society and community of